What's up, everybody? The Falcons just got a 29-21 win on the road at Carolina to improve to 6-7 on this season. That was a big win for the Falcons today. At this point, your fifth road win of the season. This team is they're finding ways to win. They're finding ways to win. I thought they were going to try to get a little crazy at the end. Of course, you know how those Falcon games end for us. But the defense had a pretty good day. The defense actually had okay games they've had okay moments throughout the last 2 weeks. They had another pick six today. They picked off Cam Newton. They got Michael Walker, who needs to get more reps at linebacker. He got a pick six today. They came up with 3 turnovers on defense. So the defense did enough to win the ball game. Offensively, I think we're finding a running game for once. The offense actually ran the ball well the last 2 games. I know we ran for over 100 against the number 1 rush defense in the league last week against Tampa, and then we did it again this week against Carolina. So the Falcons are finding ways to win with, to me, this is still one of the worst rosters in the league. But they're finding ways to win ball games. So, I mean, I can't take that away from them at this point of the season. They're winning games that they should be winning. The Falcons probably have the third, I think they said on Fox, they have the third easiest schedule remaining in the NFL. We have San Francisco next week in San Fran as a 4:00 game. And then we come home for Detroit and Atlanta. Detroit and New Orleans, 2 of the last 3 games. And then we got Buffalo on the road. So the schedule is favorable. They have a shot. They could run off 8. They could probably get to 8 wins and it's so weird. They probably could make the playoffs at 8-9. And I don't think nobody really saw that coming. I know I did. Not to say this is still a pretty bad roster. Let's go to the comments. Ryan, what's up, bro? He said Carolina doesn't have an offense. Atlanta got a good win. Worst roster ever. Oh my God, bro. This is the worst Falcon roster I think I've ever seen. It's not a lot of talent on this roster. And of course, we know we're still not having Calvin Ridley. This team still don't have a lot of talent as far as getting separation, as far as making plays. But they're pulling through despite at this point. And I think that's the most amazing thing, that the Falcons are getting. They're getting wins, because I just sat here and said that I don't know how we won 6 games this season. I mean, none of it has really been impressive, but I still don't know how we won 6 games, just to be honest with you. We played some bad teams, and I'm not going to take that away from that, but at the end of the day, you're 6-7 and still in a wild card race, because Washington is getting smoked by the Cowboys right now. I think it's 27-9, 27-8 right now. So they got a chance. The Falcons are still in this picture, which is weird. And go to the other comments. Hey, Charmaine, how you doing? She said, when I'm coming back to the street. I know it's been a long time since I've been in there. I'm going to be on there with you guys soon, though. I got you. What's up, bro? He said, I'm just happy we pulled that off. Me too. Because at the end of the day, you still have to win those ball games. I don't care how you win it at a certain point. You still have to win the game. And the Falcons found a way. The Falcons are finding a way to win games. I think Arthur Smith, he still got a lot of rookie mistakes in him as far as on offense. There are certain calls I don't agree with at times, but I feel like despite it, the Falcons have won 6 games, which is more than they probably even expected. They're happy just to even have won 4 games, just to be honest with you, because we had Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and those guys last season won 4 games. So this group here winning 6 games is just pretty remarkable at this point. Let me go to the comments. Gibson said the defense won 6 games. The defense had a good – I will say they've won the last 2. I'm not going to say they've won 6, because the offense had their days, but the defense found a way to pull it out, hold off, and we won the game at the end, those games. But I will say the defense definitely played a factor in the last 2 games that we won. And to be honest with you, Dean Pease, I still say that the coaching staff still isn't – they've won 6 games despite the roster that they have. It's not a lot of talent on the roster. So, again, it's hard. It's like it's kind of shocking to see that this team has won 6 games, just to be honest with you guys, because, again, Cordero Patterson, by far the best player on the team this season. He had another touchdown today. The running game, I don't know what Arthur Smith has found the last couple of games, but the Falcons have actually ran the ball well the last couple of weeks. They ran pretty good this week against the Carolina Panthers, who they gave us fits when they came to Atlanta back in October. So that was a big showing by the Falcons today. So again, they found a way to be 6-7. I don't really know how, but they found a way to be 6-7. He said that the defense will be aggravated next season. I will agree with you on this because I will say this. Dean Pease actually calls some solid blitz schemes. I love the defensive calls. We just don't have the talent yet to play those. Today, I feel like we saw for the first time this season the defense actually, we saw what it could be. Yes, they gave up 21 points. I mean, Cam scored the first drive of the game. Excuse me, my bad. The Ravens are about to lose to the Browns. Lamar got hurt. I was just seeing if they were going to finish that game. But the defense, to me, showed glimpses of what they could be if Dean Pease is here next season and with better talent. I think that there are pieces that are in place. So I really do think that the Falcons have something there on defense. I think they have something on both sides as far as coaching. I don't think we have the pieces fully through, and despite that, they are 6-7, which is more than what you could ask for with this team as talent deficient as this Falcon off defense is, especially there, because they've gotten a couple turnovers. You know, Cam had Cam moments also. I will sit here and say that he did. He had Cam moments as well, but overall, the defense had a solid showing today because that drive when he got the pick six. Cam Newton had an outstanding. Michael Walker had an outstanding read on that Cam Newton play. And of course, Cam Newton got away with, Cam Newton also fumbled twice and the Falcons turned into points. But again, they won the game. Let's go to the comments. Alex said that facts that he should be rebuilt in the right way. Yeah, to me, I think one thing as far as this new coaching staff, when you get a chance to see what you got after the first season, then you can kind of see where you're going to go with this team. So we don't really know who's going to be on the roster next season and who's going to fit this team next season as well. I do think that the Falcons, like I said, the Falcons have been winning despite the lack of talent. They've been trying to put the talent in the best position possible. Although Carolina's not the most elite offense in the world, they do have pieces there. They got a solid receiving core in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. But as far as the defense today, they did a good job. They forced several turnovers, and that's all you could ask for. And they won a game by getting a pick six. So incredible showing by the defense. Let's see. Goes to the comments, checking in. What's going on, Jordan? How you doing, bro? He said that the first 4 rounds should be on defense. We should go defensive heavy. But to me, as long as you walk away with 2 pieces on that defense in the first 3 rounds, I'm okay. Because the offense definitely needs some pieces as well. I do feel that the one thing I will sit here, I'm not going to just, of course, when I get on the stream, I'm not going to just talk about the great things that happened today. The Falcons I will go ahead and address this because I was going to address this even if we lost the game. Matt Ryan it's time to get his replacement. He didn't have an awful game today, but he didn't play the best either. He had his moments early in the first half where Carolina dropped several interceptions in the first half. There was a throw in a drive. I think we kicked the field goal on the drive where Matt Ryan missed, what's his name? Tajay Sharp wide him for a touchdown on the drive. That could have been 6. He missed Russell Gage on the play. That could have been 6. So Matt is definitely lost a step in this, and I'm not sitting here saying anything negative about the guy. I've appreciated what he's done in the 14 years he's been here, but you do got to start looking into the future after Matt Ryan because, I do think he'll be on the roster next season, but you got to start looking at his next guy that's going to learn behind him because Matt has lost a step in several ways this season. It has shown in the last couple of weeks. So the Falcons do need to look into getting that into position. I will also say that the Falcons will be needing to look into maybe going the free agent route to get some pieces on that offensive line as far as center and left guard, because I do think that the Falcons have had those struggles there. And it's so weird. I was talking about this on Facebook earlier during the game. The Falcons have it's weird because Matt Hennessy and Jalen Mayfield, as much as you see me criticize those guys, they had an excellent day run blocking. They were awful pass blocking. They had a great day run blocking. A couple of Quadri Allison runs don't happen if they don't set the block. Of course, Lindstrom's probably one of the most underrated right guards in football. But I think the Falcons have to revamp their offensive line to fit Arthur Smith's schemes if he's the head coach in season 2, which at this rate, 6 wins so far is really a step. 6 is more than 4. So, you do the math there. And then, of course, this is a team that don't have a lot of talent on the roster. You have a wide receiver that's out for mental health reasons, so you lost a lot to win 6 games. Let me go back to the comments. John said, I love the blitz schemes have been called the past few weeks. Yes, he's actually called some pretty good blitz schemes. They just, again, if the Falcons upgrade some talent up front, I think it'll be a little more effective. I think that's the one thing that the Falcons have to do is they got to upgrade up front in a huge way. You're going to have, it also depends on what you do as far as Grady Jarrett, because I do think that the Falcons are going to have to come to a decision financially to move someone after this season. And I'm not sure who it's going to be. I do think at least one of the big name defensive players, whether it's Deion Jones or Dante Fowler, who's actually, I'll be honest with you guys, Dante Fowler hasn't had a bad season, but for the money that he makes, he's not, it doesn't work in this team. So he could be a guy that the Falcons could look into moving after the season or even moving on from after the season. I think his contract may be up after the year. So that's going to be a person to watch out for this next couple of weeks. Jordan said he was happy to win. Yeah, I was happy to win today too, bro. Definitely happy to get this win today. John said a second straight pick 6 for the defense. Yeah, definitely. That was definitely a great read by Michael Walker. I'll also say that was a great read. If he missed that pick, who knows? Yes, that saved what could have potentially been a game. They could have went ahead on that drive because the Panthers actually moved that was from the 3-yard line. So the Falcons were definitely could have gave a touchdown or field goal. So that could have been different. That could have been a different ball game there. But from that point on, I think the Falcons gained a lot of confidence. Let's see. Go back to the comments. We just need a linebacker and a true safety. To be honest with you, we got a solid linebacker in Alua Khan, and Michael Walker is very underrated, but he doesn't get a lot of reps on this defense, which he should be getting way more reps than he does. So he's a guy that I would definitely give more reps to in the coming weeks if I'm the Falcons. You also said get rid of Debo Fowler and Ridley. Calvin Ridley's a tough one. I have to be honest. Calvin Ridley's going to be a tough one. I don't know what the Falcons are going to choose to do because they picked up his 5th-year option, I want to say, before last season. They picked up his 5th-year option. So he is going to be on the roster as far as cap-wise next season. But as far as Deion Jones, he could be a casualty of the cap. And as far as Fowler, I do think that they may move on from Dante Fowler if they can't come back and get him for a cheap contract. So that could be something to watch out for as well. Alan also said need to make room in our team cap for more experienced players that will work well with what we have. That is so true. And one of the unfortunate things for the Falcons have been this season is they went into the season cap strap because you still had a lot of contracts on the team. You had Desmond Trufant, you had Ricardo Allen, you had several guys on this team that was getting paid, that was hitting your cap. So the Falcons came into the season with no money. So this is one of the reasons why the Falcons are so talent deficient. But despite it, like we said, they've won 6 games, which is way more than those guys can ask for. So again, like you said, and another thing is they were only depending on what happens this offseason. The Falcons only have Julio Jones' big deal on their books next season, which is $15 million. So with the cap going up, they should be at $28 million before everything happens. So we'll see. We'll see what the Falcons looking to do in this offseason. It's getting close, so it's going to be interesting. John also said, I would love to see the Birds pick up some elite edge rushers. Dante Fowler is worth the money that he's making. I do agree with that. I do think that the Falcons truly do have to start. They got to get you another solid piece or two. And I think the Falcons are going to transition to a 3-4 defense if it hasn't already happened. But we just don't have the pieces to be a 3-4 defense right now. That's where the problem comes into play if you're the Falcons. They don't have a 3-4 scheme. They have a 3-4 scheme and 3-4 coordinator, but they don't have the pieces to run 3-4 like they should. To me, I've often wonder like what are the positions for certain guys, like Steven Means, who's a defensive end. He's standing up as a linebacker. Tawadi Mariner, when he was on the team, he was standing up as a defensive end. You know, I don't really know. Dean Pease is trying to work what he got, so that's going to be a interesting thing for the Falcons. But let's go back to the comments. Alan said, "Who would you like to see us pick up?" To be honest, I think it all depends on where we're picking in the draft. I also think it depends on who's on the team going into the season. I'm not really sure of this free agent class just yet, but I would love to see maybe a Nakobe Dean or a David Ojabo if he doesn't spike up the draft board, which I think he will, come to Atlanta in the first round. I do think the Falcons, this is going to be a edge rush / D-line heavy draft coming up because, I mean, of course, you got your several guys like Jordan Davis, Kayvon Thibodeau, and those guys are going to be going early. But after that, you got a lot of talent on that back end that you can pick up pieces in the draft. Gipsy said, Pitts will be our number one option. We need another number 2 receiver. He needs to become our number 2 option, to be honest with you guys. And I really think the Falcons do have to look into getting maybe 2 receivers, depending on what they're going to do with Calvin Ridley. I think the Falcons do need to look into possibly getting 2 receivers on this team. As far as because the Falcons don't have a lot of separation. They'll get a lot of guys that can make plays after their I want to put it. They don't have a lot of guys who can create separation for themselves. Because Russell Gage has been doing pretty well over the last 2 weeks, but I mean he's not consistent. Zacchaeus is not consistent. Tajay Sharp, to me, should never be your number 1 or number 2 option. But when you don't have Calvin Ridley, that's going to be your option. So I think the Falcons do have to look into an opportunity of, hey, we may have to look at a receiver, whether it's a cheap signing in free agency or in the draft at some point. I do think they need to look into that. Jordan said, let's talk about Cam getting benched. I'm going to go ahead and go on record and say that Cam Newton is done. I know a lot of people are saying that, okay, Cam Newton is just coming back and learning the scheme, but Cam is not the same quarterback. If you watch that man and thought that was the same quarterback that you saw 3-4 years ago that was winning MVP and being the Superman that he was, that's not the same guy that was on that field. The guy got benched twice for PJ Walker. That's not a good look. So to me, it's coming to a point where the Panthers have to address quarterback. That may be their first. They might be the first team to go quarterback in the draft. And to be honest with you guys, that loss might have just lost. That might have just ended their season. And you might see them creep up that draft board come January because the Panthers have Buffalo. They got Carolina twice. They got New Orleans in New Orleans. And that's never a easy game if you're the Panthers. And I cannot remember who their other game. Give me a second. Let me try to see what their other game is so I can tell you guys who their other game is on the schedule. If it's a Panther fan on the stream, please let me know because I cannot remember what that other game was. They're at Buffalo next week. They could very well lose all 4 games, and that's not even being funny. Carolina could easily lose 3 of the next 4 at minimum because you got Tampa week 16 and 18. You got Buffalo next week. You got New Orleans at New Orleans. With that squad, they're probably going to lose out. And I hate to say it like that. I don't want to dog another team, but I just look at from what I've seen today, what our defense did today. And I'm not taking anything away from the Falcons today. I just don't think that they're having this has been an impressive run for Carolina. They could lose out. So that's going to be something to watch. AJ, what's going on, bro? He said Atlanta won off effective running defense and winning the line of scrimmage. Yes, they did. The Falcons to me, this was an Arthur Smith win. You played effective on defense. You ran the ball well today. And then, of course, again, they didn't have – Matt wasn't hit a lot in this game. He got hit, but the Panthers had to start dialing up blitzes just to get after Matt Ryan in this game, whereas we're used to seeing Matt Ryan get obliterated by opposing teams. Whereas today he was able to kind of stay in that pocket and make a couple of moves. But like I said, to me also, Carolina had several blown opportunities in this ball game for themselves. Matter of fact, I have not touched on the Panthers and Falcons stat line. Let me go pull it up. Give me a second. But yeah, I definitely like I said, the Falcons did what they need to do today as far as keeping themselves alive in the wild card picture, which it sounds so crazy to say this. Sounds very crazy to say this, guys, but the Falcons are still in the wild card race. They're still in the wild card race. The Falcons have a strong opportunity to finish and make the wild card. And I guess I'm going to get a chance to go take a look at the schedule. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to the box score. I'm coming right back to the main screen. I just want to share the screen real quick. I appreciate y'all tuning in and giving me these solid questions. Y'all are awesome. Okay, we got the screen pulled. We got this screen pulled up. Let me get this out the background. Okay, so let me go full screen so you guys can see what's going on right here. Let me remove this comment as well. As we see for the stat line on the day, let me go closer because I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me zoom in a little bit closer for you guys that are on the stream. I don't know how close it shows. Give me a second, everyone. All right, here we go. You want to bring it a little closer. Matt Ryan had 19 to 28 for 190, a touchdown, no picks. He didn't get sacked today, which is awesome. He got sacked 5 times last week in the loss at Tampa. Cam Newton threw an interception. PJ Walker threw their touchdown pass today. Cordero Patterson again led the team in rushing. The Falcons ran for 128 yards today collectively and a touchdown. As you see, all 3 running backs actually had a productive day, with Cordero having 58 yards. Mike Davis had 44 yards. Allison had 23 yards. Pretty productive day. Once again, Russell Gage had 4 for 64, no touchdowns. Kyle Pitts, 5 of 61. He got a chance to get a little more involved. Mike Davis had 42 yards receiving. Pretty impressive for him. As you see, Carolina, they had a couple. Both of their receivers had a decent day. But as you see, the story of the game right here, Carolina had 3 fumbles, lost one of them, recovered the other 3. They had several blown opportunities in this game on fumbles. As you see, Aluakon led the team in tackles. You can see the stat line. The Falcons had 2 interceptions on the day. Just going through the stat line, this is what the stat line looked like today. But again, like I said, the Falcons found a way to win a ball game that many probably wouldn't think they would win. But back to the comments. Let's go to AJ. He said also Washington lost. Nearly came back against Dallas with a BS call, killed the last drive. Okay, so the Cowboys is going to go ahead and finish with a win. That's a big victory for the Cowboys as far as closing in on clinching that number 1 that division title out of the NFC East. Now let me just go to the stream. And let me pull something else up for you guys. I want to go touch on this playoff picture for the first time, just to show you the realistic opportunity the Falcons have at making the playoffs. Let me go back to the playoff machine, just to show you guys what I'm looking at. Okay, the playoff machine is currently this right now. As we're going to go ahead, we're going to mark the loss. We know they're going to lose the games. We're going to go ahead and give the loss to Washington. Let me go over here to them. I can't find them. 1 second, guys. Okay, so my bad. Wrong thing. Okay, so as you can see, that Washington, remember we lost to Washington back in week 4. That game is coming back to hunt us now, because as you see right here, the Falcons probably would have already been the number 7 seed with that loss. Looking at the rankings, New Orleans won today. So the Falcons, the Saints, the Eagles, the Vikings are all in this race right now at 6 and 7. So this is going to be a wild finish for the Falcons. And the Falcons, I think they said, have the third easiest schedule remaining. So there's a realistic shot at the playoffs if you're the Atlanta Falcons, because the Falcons got some winnable games coming up. And just to kind of show you guys the tiebreaker, they haven't done a wild card tiebreaker. I want to show you guys wild card tiebreaker. They don't have it right now. But this is the current, like I said, this is the current picture. Washington's still gonna be in. Washington, Philly's on a bye, so they're 6 and 7. New Orleans won today. Nobody's gonna jump them, I don't think. Minnesota won their game against Pittsburgh. Let me make sure nobody else is playing today that's in that 7th slot. Okay, so nobody has an opportunity to jump ahead of Washington as of today. But the reality of the situation for the Falcons is they're going to play the Washington, I think, I'll tell you guys momentarily, they got next week. They play the Eagles. So the winner of that game will probably fall into the number 7 seed in the NFC. Falcons need to handle their business. The Falcons going to play San Francisco, who go back and share the screen one more time. Go back and share the screen one more time. So as you can see, I'm going to show you on the screen, the Falcons got San Francisco next week. Washington got Philadelphia next week. Next week we have, and Alan, to answer your question, I do think the Falcons will pull that game out against San Francisco, depending on what they do at Cincinnati today. But back to the Saints are going to play Tampa next week. That should be a loss for the Saints, excuse me. No disrespect to them, but that should be a loss. Then we go back to the questions. My bad, guys. I'm trying to find the other team I'm looking for. So San Fran plays us next week. Washington has Philly. I think trying to see who Minnesota plays. Minnesota got the Bears. So Minnesota kind of control their own destiny too. Let's go back to the comments. AJ said for the Falcons to control their playoff destiny, they have to beat 3 of the last 4 as much as Buffalo's under. I totally agree. We are not winning that game at Buffalo. I'm not trying to sound pessimistic, but Buffalo's going to get back together. They're going to get it together. I do not see Buffalo not winning 10 games. They have next week, they got Carolina coming in there week 15, week 16. Buffalo is going to host or go against. Let me look. They got the Patriots at New England week 16. That should be a big time game. They got us week 17, and then they got the Jets. But the Bills might win out. The Bills at worst are going to go 3-1. They're going to be in that mix for the AFC playoff picture. So that's not going to be something that they're going to be too fond of. As I mentioned, the Falcons are going to have the Saints week 18 here in Atlanta. We're going to have the Bills week 17 at Buffalo. Got Detroit here week 16. Got San Fran next week. So as you see, Washington, Philadelphia plays next week. Then Washington goes to Dallas and play them week 16 as Philadelphia gets the Giants at home. Philadelphia is one of the teams to watch out for. They could get hot if they beat Washington next week. This could get interesting. They got Washington 2 of the next 3 weeks. So that's going to play a big factor in that number 7 seed. But as far as the Falcons, they got to win 3 of the next 4 because Philly and Washington is going to kick each other out of the wild card race. That's one thing that we are seeing as we see this playoff picture. It matters at this point. So if the Falcons can beat the 49ers next week, we legit could be talking about the Falcons possibly making the playoffs because San Francisco has Tennessee after Atlanta. They go to, let me see what San Francisco got left. They got the Texans at home. They should beat the Texans at home. And then they're going to go against the Rams. So the 49ers, it's going to get interesting now. The Falcons have played themselves into the wild card race, which is pretty shocking considering the Falcons have got off to a rough start this year. But we may get on here later in the week and talk on that conversation as the NFL playoff picture gets closer. So again, the Falcons pulled out a 29-21 win on the road, improved to 6-7. They're tied for second in the division. They actually have second because they beat the Saints a couple weeks ago. But again, this has been your Falcon post-game report. I appreciate you all tuning in. And until next time, rise up and y'all have a good week.